What's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well. I just want to start this video out by saying that this is just a build showcase, not necessarily a build guide. I will go over all the supports, skills, gear, and talent tree, but I would not recommend that you do this. It's a pretty high likelihood that it gets nerfed. With that being said, I have not had more fun in this game than I have playing this build. There's virtually no downsides outside of the budget. It clears maps insanely fast, one-shots bosses, is pretty tanky after you kill a couple mobs since we're running Grim Feast and we're a Blood Mage, so we're doubling our effective life and energy shield. We're also running Mind Over Matter, so the mana is also life. The cost is a little rough, like I said. We do need Melting Maelstrom. Since we're running Ball Lightning, it can drain our mana extremely fast on bosses or super tanky rares. And Temporalis is like 75 div on its own. Alright, now we're on to the skills, gear, and passive tree portion of the video. I just want to give a quick shout out to Jung Roan. He was the one that came up with the concept of the Autobomber. We're a little further into the league now, so I wanted to see what improvements could be made with a higher budget and test out different skills. Again, this isn't a build guide, but I just wanted to show my progress and show you how it works as well. I'm sure there's things that could be done much better by people much smarter than I am, and the gear isn't all that optimal, but let's get into it. So we're obviously using Temporalis as well as Choir of the Storm. Temporalis is what's responsible for lowering the cooldown on Lightning Bolt, provided from Choir of the Storm, as well as Blink. Outside of that, we've got a pretty decent wand here. I decided to not go for critical hit chance on the wand and supplemented that by getting it on the tree. This wand was only 4 divs, as opposed to, instead of getting the mana regen, replacing that with critical hit chance would have been upwards of 15 to 20. Just a decent ring. This is one that we actually crafted, quote unquote crafted, in the Breachstone video. Big mana, cast speed, mana regen, everything else is whatever. At Series Disdain, this is what's responsible for like 1400 of our 2500 energy shield. It's corrupted and has the extra roll for whatever reason. Alt key doesn't want to work. There we go. So we're at 36% when the max should only be 30. Choir of the Storm, we already touched on that. Big thing to note here is critical hits ignore enemy monster lightning resistance, so we don't have to worry about doing lightning pen or lightning exposure or anything like that. As for the scepter, 2 things that matter here: big spirit, obviously that's how we're able to run all the cast on as well as blink and grim feast. The strength was nice as well, just because this has a strength requirement on it. Boots, we've got res, chaos res, socketed chaos res, life and mana, obviously ingenuity. And gloves here, just more mana, ES, critical damage bonus, and filling out some resistances that we were missing. Up next is the skills. Obviously we have Lightning Bolt from Choir of the Storm. This is triggered anytime anything crits, including Lightning Bolt itself. So that's how we're triggering like crazy chain reactions of things that just seem to never end until the thing dies. We're running Lightning Mastery, Elemental Focus, Concentrated Effect, and Considered Casting. Currently at 40,000 DPS there, as you can see, and around 70% critical hit chance. Be careful of getting this too high. Jung Roan was saying anything above 75% is going to cause the game to crash. It's just too many things for the game to actually process. So 443 on the critical damage bonus. Up next, cast on crit. So again, anytime anything else crits, we're gaining energy, and we're using Ball Lightning. Really nice thing about this is we're shooting 3 projectiles, and each one of those projectiles every 0.2 seconds will hit enemies in range, and those can crit. So more chains. With that, increased energy with impetus, scattershot, that's how we're getting the 2 extra projectiles. Inspiration, again, when we're fighting bosses, mana and life can flash down to 0 and go right back up. It's pretty entertaining. And overcharge, just so we can increase the magnitude of shocks. That's kind of why we're running elemental focus on lightning bolt, so it can't shock, and it's primarily just coming from ball lightning. Up next is cast on dodge. Anytime we blink, we're casting 2 different spark skills. I just did whatever caused me to not be mana negative as far as the level goes on these. Damage is irrelevant. We're just trying to fish for crits with this and triggering the lightning bolt and cast on crit ball lightning. Acceleration, more projectile speed. Persistence, more skill effect duration, so they last longer. Chain, just to help. Things can chain if they're sitting next to each other, so that's nice as well. Blink, only thing we have on that is Arcane Tempo, and it's really the only thing that affects it. Grim Feast, since we're playing Blood Mage, our HP can effectively double because of the blood orbs, and Grim Feast does the exact same thing to the energy shield side of things. On that, we had some extra spirit. Messed up calculations as far as what I needed for spirit on the scepter. So we have clarity for more mana regen, cannibalism. 4% of life recovered on kill is why I think I'm probably going to take out the leech in the passive tree. I'll touch on that here momentarily. And vitality, again, had the extra spirit, throw it in. It doesn't really do anything, but it's there. As you can see, we're capped on Ellie res, only 61% on the Chaos res. You could definitely easily get to 75% on everything. 1500 life, 2400 energy shield, and 320 spirit. Don't worry about my name. I have the humor of a 5-year-old. All my characters have stupid names. Moving on to the passive tree here. I touched on it briefly. I'm not sure if Vitality Siphon is going to be necessary. I think it may matter on boss fights, so I'll have to play with it. Play with it yourself if you decide to give this build a try and it doesn't get nerfed within a couple days. They haven't done anything yet, but with 0.1.1 coming out, who knows what's going to happen. If you don't end up taking that, Grasping Wounds is pretty nice. Just heading down the middle here, grabbing some ES nodes, cast speed, crit, more crit. Heading over to the left to grab Mind Over Matter, and since we're here, it seemed like a good idea to get Storm Charge and all natural. As for the jewels, I'm primarily going for spell damage, LE damage, crit hit chance, and crit damage bonus. I wouldn't worry too much about the meta skills, gain increased energy, as I was playing with other builds and these were just left over from that. But you may need one or two. I'm not totally sure. Grabbing pure power up here, more crit nodes, ES, int, more skill effect duration that works on ball lightning as well as spark. More damage and recover mana when you invoke a spell. Super high value there. More crit nodes. This is probably the best cluster of crit nodes in the game. We come down and grab conservative casting. That's really just because ball lightning has a pretty high mana cost, so this helps with that a little bit. I don't think Eternal Youth is really needed. At least it doesn't seem like it. So I may end up specking out of that and grabbing something else. Come down, just get Wild Storm, super high value, more crit, and even more crit. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, or don't. Hope you have a good one.